Lil Bibby has always spoken out about what led to Juice WRLD's tragic death, but now he's dropped some wild new info that's got everyone in shock. And get this, it actually matches up with what Juice's girlfriend had been saying the whole time.
Oh, blah, blah, blah. You guys think he died from a drug overdose? You're wrong!
Now here's where it gets messy, real messy. In court, Bibby had to talk under oath, and what came out was insane. According to documents and testimony, Bibby knew way more about Juice WRLD's drug addiction than he ever let on before, and the choices made with that knowledge, they're seriously disturbing. What's even crazier, Bibby had already hinted at some of this stuff in old interviews, but no one connected the dots until now. In one clip, Juice is straight up reaching out for help.
Juice, like a week before he passed, he just pulled me to the side, like, we gotta start coming around more. I miss how it was in the beginning, man. It was so much fun.
He's telling Bibby he needs him around more, that he misses how things used to be. And Bibby's response? He brushes him off and calls him weird. He said, "I don't like being around weird people." Imagine that.
So I tell him, like, Juice, you be acting weird, bro. I don't like being around weird people, bro. Like,
Juice WRLD is clearly going through it, opening up, asking someone he trusts to be there for him. And instead, he gets hit with cold rejection. No sympathy, no support, or just judgment. But hang on, it gets darker. The court heard Bibby knew exactly how bad Juice's drug use was. We're not talking vague rumors, and we're talking real detailed info. He said Juice was popping 4 Percocets at once. Yeah, 4! And even Bibby admitted that it had him freaking out. To be clear, that kind of dosage is extremely dangerous. That's not someone messing around. That's someone spiraling, and Bibby knew it. This wasn't some behind-the-scenes secret. According to his own words, Juice was isolated, crying for help, and instead of being there, Bibby pulled away. And now those old interviews, they hit way different. Juice talked about dealing with anxiety, and Bibby just brushed it off like it was nothing.
Well, what was his reason for that?
So he told me, like, yeah, man, I know, man, I'm sorry, I'm just dealing with anxiety, and I said, bro, what the like, what is, I got anxiety too, what are you talking about, bro?
When Juice said he was battling addiction and anxiety, Bibby didn't try to help. He just said to stop doing the drugs. That was it, and that's not even the end of it. The court also uncovered that Bibby made business decisions knowing full well what Juice was going through. Even though he knew about the addiction, he still pushed Juice to keep touring and doing shows.
But look, on top of that, anxiety, but you don't do no drugs, though. So I got anxiety and I'm doing the drugs. I said, well, bro, stop doing the f***ing drugs then. What the f?
It's all in the testimony. Juice was desperate. The court heard he called Bibby 6 times, begging him to come on tour. That's not a spoiled artist. That's someone screaming for support. He needed help to deal with the fame, the pressure, and the addiction. But here's the part that hits hardest. The court brought up the money. All the money Juice's career was bringing in, and how that cash flow might have played a role in the decisions being made. Remember the deal in 2022 where Juice WRLD's catalog got sold to Opus Music Group? That whole thing looks way more suspicious now. If people like Bibby knew how bad things were but still pushed Juice to keep performing just to keep the money rolling, then selling his catalog after his death becomes a whole different kind of scandal. It didn't stop there. Testimony also showed what was going on in Juice's final weeks. Bibby admitted Juice had agreed to go to rehab, but instead of quitting, Juice said he just wanted to lower his dosage because he liked it too much. And guess what happened next? Nothing. No serious help. Just more work, more appearances like it was business as usual. The court painted a chilling picture. This wasn't just bad luck, this was neglect. Maybe even something worse. The people who were supposed to protect Juice, they looked the other way. They let the money talk, man, the consequences were fatal. Juice WRLD wasn't just another rapper, he was young, vulnerable, and fighting demons. What's tragic isn't just how he died. It's how many people saw it coming and still did nothing. They should have been fighting for him, not watching him fall apart. And Bibby's courtroom confession. It just confirmed what fans and insiders had been whispering about long before he ever took the stand. Fans were already side-eyeing the official story, but everything exploded after a jaw-dropping claim from Juice WRLD's girlfriend. Her version of what happened the day he died? It completely shattered the narrative we were told. The first big red flag came straight from someone who was right there, Ali Lottie, Juice's girlfriend at the time. She wasn't guessing or hearing it secondhand. She was physically with him in those final moments. And what she's been saying publicly?
Y'all imagine, literally, I'm like, oh, blah, 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 you guys think he died from a drug overdose. You're wrong. You're wrong. Literally, you're wrong. There's a lot of shit y'all don't know that I fucking grieve through myself while I let y'all grieve and talk mad shit on me. I don't care.
It doesn't just question the story we've been told, it flips it upside down. Let's stop right there for a second, because this is massive. Ali Lottie isn't dancing around it. She flat out said Juice WRLD did not die from an overdose. She's not hinting. She's not speculating. She straight up says you're wrong multiple times and claims there's a whole lot of stuff people don't know. Now ask yourself, why would someone who saw everything with her own eyes go against the official medical report? Either she's lying for some reason, or there's truth we still haven't heard. And from the way she sounds in that clip, you can feel the pain, the frustration. It's real. She sounds like someone who's tired of being silenced and doubted. Her anger? It's not for show. It comes off like she's been trying to tell the truth and no one's believed her. But if the official overdose story is solid, why would she be so emotional about fighting it? And it doesn't stop there. The details Ali shared about Juice's final moments are deeply disturbing. She said Juice told her he wasn't feeling well, then suddenly had a seizure.
He looked at me because he didn't feel good, and he was like, Ali, I don't feel good. And then he went, Ali, and then froze the f up and seized the f out. And I ran over screaming and trying to help him. And no one helped. No one. There was one person out of all the people that were there that were able to help, not talking about the group that we were with, because they were handcuffed. So there's not much they could do. But everyone else that was there was only one person who helped me. It was a woman. I'm so grateful for her.
And what happened next? According to Ali, only one person helped her try to save his life. Just one. Think about that. A young man is going through a medical emergency and almost nobody steps in to help. Where was his team, his management? The so-called crew that was supposed to be protecting him? Ali's testimony opened the floodgates. Fans started digging, talking, questioning everything. Her version of events doesn't line up with what we've been told. Not even close. And people across the hip-hop world are buzzing with theories. Let's talk about some of the wildest stuff going around, because trust folks are talking. One of the biggest theories out there, that Juice WRLD faked his own death. Yeah, it sounds wild, but fans bring up his song Legends, where he says, "We ain't making it past 21. And then he literally passed away at 21. Some think this was all planned, like his final act or a twisted social experiment. But let's be honest, that one's a stretch. The medical examiner confirmed his death. Accidental overdose from oxycodone and codeine. He was given Narcan, rushed to the hospital, and sadly passed on December 8th, 2019. Artists talk about death in their music all the time, especially when they're struggling like Juice was. But there's another theory floating around that's way darker. People on Reddit and other forums are claiming that Juice's label, Grade A Productions, might have set him up, straight up poisoned him, to take control of his unreleased music. The theory? Juice wanted out. He was planning to leave the label and go independent, but there was a clause. If anything happened to him while still under contract, the label would keep all rights to his catalog and his unreleased music worth hundreds of millions. Now, this theory's been gaining steam because of how much money is involved. If Juice had left and gone solo, he would have taken the gold mine with him. But after his death, Grade A had full controls and the ability to drop posthumous albums for years. Coincidence? Some folks say no way. Still, there's zero hard proof that someone poisoned him. Toxicology reports say it was an overdose. No signs of foul play. But let's not forget, just because no one poisoned him doesn't mean everyone around him is innocent. There's a big difference between murder and letting someone spiral without stepping in. Another huge theory: what really happened on that private jet? Here's what the official story says. The feds boarded Juice's jet and he panicked, swallowed a bunch of pills to hide them, and then overdosed. But now people are asking, did he really take those pills on purpose? Agents found 70 pounds of marijuana, 6 bottles of codeine, guns, and ammo on that plane. So yeah, there were definitely drugs. But some fans wonder if those pills were forced on him or slipped to him without his knowledge. And with Ali Lottie saying over and over again that he didn't die from an overdose, it's no wonder people are questioning if there's more to the story, something that's still being kept quiet. This theory right here, it's one of the darkest. Man, it's shaking the hip-hop world to its core. It suggests someone wanted Juice WRLD gone, and they used his addiction to make it look like a tragic accident. But the motive? According to this theory, it was all about money and control. People are saying Juice was starting to wake up, realizing his worth, getting harder to manage, and pulling away from the people who once had power over him. And because of his addiction, he became an easy target, vulnerable, exploitable. And some folks allegedly took advantage of that, all to secure their own bag. Now here's where it gets sketchy. Posthumous albums and catalog deals were supposedly in the works right after he passed. Like, way too fast. The folks who dropped the ball when it came to protecting him, they ended up making hundreds of millions off his death. Let that sink in for a second. Juice asked for help again and again, and it was either ignored or straight up brushed off. And on the day he died, key people from his management team weren't even in touch with him. Fans are saying this doesn't feel like a tragedy, it feels like a cover-up. According to this theory, the whole story about Juice swallowing pills to hide them from the feds was just that. A story, a setup to explain his sudden death and make it look like an accident. But Ali Lottie, who was there, has publicly contradicted that version. She said he didn't die from an overdose, and that almost no one helped during the medical emergency. And then there's Bibby, staying real quiet about specific details. Fans are pointing to all the inconsistencies in timelines, witness stories, and the silence from people who should have spoken up. Some believe Juice WRLD wasn't just failed, he was sacrificed. Yeah, it sounds wild, but this theory claims the industry sees young stars like Juice as replaceable. And if they get hard to control or don't play the game, their death becomes more profitable than their career. As extreme as that sounds, it's gained traction because we've seen this pattern before. Young artists with addiction struggles dying under shady circumstances while the people around them cash in big after they're gone. And fans, they're tired of the same sad cycle. Now, before we dig deeper into the fallout, let's clear one thing up. The official cause of death, confirmed by the Cook County Medical Examiner, was an accidental overdose of oxycodone and codeine. Nobody's saying Bibby or anyone else directly caused Juice's death in a legal sense, but what the court testimony did expose was something just as serious, a string of choices and behaviors that bring up huge moral questions. If you're managing a young artist, especially one struggling with addiction, you carry a responsibility. And in Juice's case, that responsibility was badly fumbled. Once the court documents came out, the backlash was instant. Fans flooded Reddit, Twitter, everywhere, feeling lied to. That mentor image of Bibby, the one where he's seen as the guy who discovered and guided Juice, was ripped apart. Instead, people saw someone who may have cared more about the money than the man. One interview clip hit fans hard. Bibby said he doesn't usually go to funerals, not even for friends, but he showed up for Juice's, so now the question is being asked, was it out of love or out of guilt?
I ain't been to a funeral in about, like 15 years. You know how many homies that died that I know?
You would just skip those.
Yeah, I don't go to funerals.
Yeah.
And then came the line that stunned everyone.
I mean, do you ever feel like if you had spent more time with him, that, you know, instead of getting other people there, if you were like his day-to-day guy, that this wouldn't have happened?
I do feel like that.
Yeah.
When asked if spending more time with Juice might have saved him, Bibby said, I do feel like that, yeah. That's not just regret, that's an admission. He knew he could have made a difference. He knew being present might have changed the outcome, but he chose other things, business things, and that choice may have cost Juice his life. The weight of that statement is huge. It shows this wasn't just mismanagement. It was a conscious decision to step back when he was needed the most. And that's something fans won't forget. But it ain't just about Bibby anymore. These court hearings expose bigger problems in the music industry. Now, problems that go beyond just one artist. There's a pattern of pushing vulnerable stars to keep working, keep performing, keep producing, even when they're breaking down inside. It's a system that chews up talent and profits off the pain. Juice's estate didn't just sit still after his death. Multiple albums dropped. Legends Never Die in 2020, Fighting Demons in 2021, and The Party Never Ends in 2024, all released under Bibby's direction. But here's the thing. If he couldn't protect Juice while he was alive, why does he get to keep profiting off him now? And then there's the sale. 90% of Juice WRLD's catalog sold to Opus Music Group in 2022. That move alone raised a lot of eyebrows. Fans were asking, if the people managing Juice during his life failed him, how can they be trusted to protect his legacy? The pain from all this. It didn't just hit fans. It devastated Juice's family. His mom, Carmela Wallace, has had to carry the grief of losing her son while watching his name get caught up in drama, mystery, and million-dollar deals. And for many, that's the part that hurts the most. And when it comes to how Juice WRLD's estate has been handled, the courtroom revelations only made a tragic story feel even heavier. But maybe the most powerful thing to come out of all this, it's the conversation. A conversation that's long overdue about how the music industry treats young talent when the spotlight fades and real life kicks in. Hip-hop has always stood for something deeper. Loyalty, brotherhood, community. We're supposed to look out for each other. But Juice WRLD's case exposed just how fast those values can crumble when big money hits the table. Because let's be real, This ain't just about Bibby and Juice. This raises huge questions that stretch across the whole music game. How many other young artists out there are silently drowning in addiction or mental health battles, while the people in charge turn a blind eye just to keep the money coming in? How many warning signs get ignored because the next tour, the next album, the next payday matters more than the person behind the music?
Did you go to the funeral?
Yeah. Glad you get me in my feelings, man.
Yeah.
Even in those quiet interview moments, you can feel the weight Bibby's carrying. When they talk about Juice's funeral, you can tell it hits him different. The pain feels real, but people are asking, is that pain from loss, or is it guilt over the choices that were made? Legally, things are still developing. Nobody's been hit with criminal charges yet, but there's serious talk about civil responsibility, especially when it comes to artist management. This case could end up changing the entire playbook on how the industry handles rising stars and all those conspiracy theories about Juice's death. They sound way more serious when you view them next to what came out in court. Sure, the official report says it was an accidental overdose, but with all the red flags, the ignored cries for help, and the strange silence from people around him, it's no wonder so many people don't trust the official version. And let's talk about Bibby. His career, his reputation is taking a major hit. His estimated net worth might be around $14 million, thanks mostly to his role as the head of Juice's label and controlling his music catalog. But after this, his name's attached to controversy that might never go away. Even when The Party Never Ends dropped in November 2024, a project that should have been a celebration of Juice's legacy, it didn't land right. Fans couldn't ignore the storm surrounding it. The album might have done numbers, but it felt empty knowing everything that led up to its release. Juice WRLD's story has now become a warning, a loud one. When the money comes first and the person comes second, tragedy's just waiting to happen. The court didn't just reveal mistakes, it exposed a broken system. A system that didn't step up when Juice needed it most. And the price was his life. The hip-hop world is still trying to process it all. The betrayal, the silence, the reality that even in an industry built on loyalty and love, too many people failed him. But as painful as these conversations are, they matter. Because real change only happens when we stop pretending everything's fine and start facing the truth head on. At the end of the day, this isn't just about contracts, albums, or charts, it's about human lives. Juice WRLD wasn't just a name on a playlist, he was a young man who needed help, and when help didn't come, we lost him. We can't just keep spinning the records and stacking the cash like none of this happened. There's gotta be accountability, there's gotta be real change, because the next Juice WRLD is out there right now, and they deserve better. If you made it this far, drop a like, leave a comment, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive, and I'll see you in the next one.